Welcome to my channel on the best of fantasy. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. It is just wonderful to see you lovely people showing up here in the comments already. Thank you so much, Christian. I appreciate it so much. And yeah, I'll be here when you get back from the gym. And there we are. Hello, Grifkin. All right. Yes, hopefully the wife says okay. Thank you so much, Samuel. And look who's here. It's Derry. Thank you so much, Derry. You are a sweetheart. I appreciate it very much. I am humbled that you would get up at 6:30 a.m. Just for little old me. But it is lovely to see you. And hello, Mirko. So good to see you. And Prater Zin. Oh, the super origin story. Well, maybe I'll have time for that today. It is true. AP is the lore master. So, and it's Samwise. Samwise is, I didn't realize that Samwise had a channel. I feel really stupid about that, but it is a fantastic channel. And I think everyone should check it out. This guy can really talk about stories. So yeah, just recent discovery for me. Fairly new channel, to be fair to myself. But I was very pleased to discover that Samwise is actually quite good at this booktube thing. So yeah, young channel. Go and give him a little support. And there's my buddy Chaz. It's so good to see you, Chaz. And let's see who else is here. Yes, all right. Yeah, all right. Well, that sounds like a deal. You should definitely do that. And here's my good friend John. Hello, John. Thank you so much. I hope the work goes by super quick. And I'm probably going to fall behind really fast here. So let's get going here. Hello. Good to see you. Somebody with a Nami icon. I love it. Yeah. All right. Yes. Hello, everybody in the chat. Everybody in the chat. Thank you, Tyler. And okay. Thank you, my friend. And there's Andrew. Hello, Andrew. Good to see you. Thank you so much. The master, the master of the live stream. Yes, we can all fantasize, I suppose, right? So yeah, this is me attempting to get a little better at this medium here, because I got to keep up with the young'uns around here. Thank you so much, Tyler. I really appreciate the kind words. It's really gratifying to me to have people leave comments like that, and that's why I'm here. That's why I started this whole thing. Yes, that's right. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Indeed. It's the meaning of life here, people. 42. So, hello, Dream Master. Good to see you. I love reading. Dream Master's often one of the first to comment on a given video. And it's always good to see those comments. Thank you so much, Jake. Oh, you're too kind. I'm glad to know you, my friend. And there's, speaking of friends, there's Marco, who's been around for a long time. And thank you so much. Yay. And there's K Fox. Thank you so much. And the wonderful Esme. Oh, I'm not, well, let's not go too far just yet here. Not quite a champion. Yay. And thank you so much. Yes, I will probably have, I'm actually going to try to do this more often. I am actually going to try to do the live stream thing a little more and be in this, on this medium in a way that people enjoy. I feel a little bit like a dinosaur sometimes using my Zoom still for everything, but that's okay. I will get used to this. Thank you so much, Vero. So good to see you here. And there's Slay. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. I see so many familiar people, and it's just so great. I feel, thank you. Thank you all. And that's okay, Esme. And a question. Okay. Yes, I will try to keep up with the chat as much as I can, but I may fall behind. And if I miss your comments, I do apologize. I am probably going to fall behind, but that's okay. So the Audible sales are great. Everybody who has left a review has been so impressed with Alan's narration. I've heard from people as well who've reached out to me. Alan has just knocked it out of the park. So for those of you who don't know, Alan from the Library of Alexandria did the narration for the audiobook of The Way of the Dan, the first book of my trilogy. I'll just I feel like I should hold up the book when I say that. So here it is. This is the first book, but you can get the audiobook on Audible or on Amazon or on iTunes. And yeah, and he just did such a marvelous job with that audiobook. I have never actually made it through an audiobook before, but it may be weird to say, but I found myself so entertained. I couldn't wait to see what would happen in the story when I was listening to Alan's narration. He just does such a brilliant job with the voices. Wow. Speaking of old friends, thank you, my friend, mein Freund, Herr Bayer. It is so good to see you. And I would not be here without you, my friend. So thank you so much. And okay, thank you so much, Samwise. And okay, very good. Yeah, I would like to see you do that, Andrew. Oh, thank you, Anita. So good to see you here. And there is Chris, a great commenter on the One Piece videos. I appreciate you guys all so much. Yes, I have regressed to 42. And thank you so much, Alex. I appreciate it so much. Thank you, Chris. And yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Andrew is quite good at the shorts, I have to say. Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't mind any you know, if some people like the One Piece stuff only, some people are here for Malazan, and some people whatever you're here for. I welcome you all. I am just happy to be here, happy to be interacting with everybody. I feel very fortunate to be here and to have this opportunity. It is the best audiobook in audiobook history, Anita. I agree. And that is really all on Alan's brilliant performance. He is getting rave reviews, everybody. I'm telling you. That's right. 42. There's even a movie called 42 about Jackie Robinson. So there you go. I am done with post-war. Chris, thank you for asking. I have finished. And now I need to gather my thoughts. This is, by the way, everybody, post-war is the last part of the Summit War saga in One Piece, and it's basically the halfway point. And wow, I have to process a lot. You should have seen me earlier this morning, bawling my eyes out, reading the post-war arc. It was just incredible. So yeah, I have a lot of things I'm thinking about, but I have to process it all. It takes me time to make those One Piece videos. I put a lot of effort into those. So, but yeah, I finished and I could not be happier. Wow. Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about it more later. Andrew, but you're good at the shorts, so that's okay. Okay. Let me get further in here. All right. And all right. Let me see if I can get the technology to work here. Already we're having troubles. Okay, we'll try this one. All right, very good. Thank you so much. Yes, I know. It's incredible, Angela, but it is so wonderful to be here with so many of you wonderful people who've been along this journey for so long. It's actually incredible. We're coming up in February on 5 years for the channel. So hello, hello. Thank you so much. There is my friend Mick Scarfield, whom I had the pleasure to meet in Oslo, Norway over the summer. And there's my buddy Britton. I'm going to be talking with him pretty soon again. Yes, I will let you guys know as soon as I know about that Broken Binding edition. Everything is done. And I believe that it is going to be going off to the printer very soon. So I anticipate that I will indeed have an announcement. Hello, Maddie. See, there's a happy audiobook listener right there. Thank you so much. He is doing such a brilliant job. And thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. I have listened to that, and I couldn't, I shouldn't admit this probably publicly, but I did try the Andy Serkis narration of Fellowship of the Ring, and that's when I thought to myself, I don't think I'll ever like an audiobook, but I was proven wrong by Alan. So there you go. Oh, thank you, Chaz. You are very kind. Yes, 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 my friend. And thank you so much. Oh, you finished The Way of a Dan. Awesome. All right. I'm so glad you're moving on. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support so much. I am wearing the tweed today for you, Brian. Well, and for everyone else too, but also for you. And this jacket, by the way, I have had since I was 16 years old. So it is older than probably most of you are in the chat. So thank you so much. And yes, we got another One Piece. Somebody else trying One Piece here. So that's right, John. When you're ready, take the dive and we'll see what happens. I think you're going to love it. Oh, you too. Wow, we're in the same boat. We're in the same boat because I just finished like literally an hour before this stream. So Sun Eater is a 2025 for sure. I am ready to go. I would have started even late this year, but realistically, I'm going to say it's going to be 2025. And yes, you did warn me. You did warn me, Chris. That is for sure. Thank you, Shad. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm just doing what I do, and I don't know what other people do because I actually have not really followed people who are known or famous One Piece reviewers. So hopefully it's what I do makes sense. I'm sure I get a lot of things wrong, but you guys are all so nice and tolerant of my fumbling around, and occasionally maybe I say something that helps people as well. So. But I'm loving that series just so much. I think you can all tell. So, yep. Yes, in fact, that is a great movie. It is a really good movie. I highly recommend it. Story of Jackie Robinson. Yes. Oh, so beautiful. Thank you. Oh, you're going to make me cry again. That's true. John is going to read everything. What am I currently reading, Anita? I am currently reading Of War and Ruin by Ryan Cahill, which I have just started, but I anticipate I'm going to love. I've enjoyed the Bound and the Broken a lot so far. And so I started the last book that is currently published. Ryan Cahill is working on the final book now, but man, it is just... it's a big series and it gets better with every book, I have to say. At this point, I'm starting to think, wow, okay, I feel like he's got his writing chops down here in Of War and Ruin. It's like a lot of people told me. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. And okay, very good. All right. And yes, he definitely will. Definitely. Yes. Okay. I feel like I'm the lucky one, Heidi, honestly, to be part of this community. I really do. Thank you, Saul. Much appreciated. And indeed. So, and oh my goodness, Anita, that is so hard. The 3 best books I've read so far this year. I mean, One Piece is definitely going to be among my very favorite reads of all time. I have to say that. There's just no doubt about it. It had me in tears again today. I finished Robin Hobb's Realm of the Elderlings in the beginning of the year, so that's up there as well. That series is all-time favorite for sure. What else have I been reading? I'm really loving Janny Wurts' series of Wars of Light and Shadow, and I'm going to be reading book 7 soon. But so we'll see where that goes, but it is definitely a top series for me. I'm going to have so many more. But yeah, I've got some good ones coming up. I think that I'm going to be finishing the year strong. I'm going to be reading some John Gwynne very soon as well. I'm really looking forward to reading Fury of the Gods, the 3rd book in the Bloodsworn trilogy. Very excited for that. And I'll probably join the bandwagon and read, who's that guy again? Oh, Brandon Sanderson. Oh, jeez. Brandon Sanderson's book 5 of Stormlight Archive, but I have to read the 4th book first in November. So I have my homework cut out for me. Okay, I'm heading there. I'm headed for the New World. Yeah, for sure. All right. And so many lovely people here. Thank you so much for showing up. And there is, speaking of lovely people, thank you so much, Amanda. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you being here for so much of the journey as well. Oh, yes, you can do the Way of a Dan immersion read now. Yes. So, yeah. Oh, and House Chains, book 4 of Malazan. Enjoy that. Enjoy that first, Tyler. It is a tremendous book. Love it. Witness. Right, Brian? Brian's out there as well. Witness. I'm probably way behind in the chat, but I know, right? Yeah, this has been a crazy year. I do think I could do some of that. I mean, it's kind of my day job. So I teach Faulkner, for example, every semester. I've taught David Foster Wallace. So that's my day job. This is kind of my fun place, I guess you could say. Not that I feel like those authors aren't fun as well. They are. But I do read a lot of those and teach them in classes. So yeah, mostly in intro to lit and so on. My main thing though that I teach is medieval and Renaissance literature. So yeah. Oh gosh. Oh my goodness. How can I answer this? I don't know. Let me think about that one. I have to think about it. There was another panel that had me bawling my eyes out in the post-war arc. So it's close. It's really close. I have to think about it. It's really hard. But the one Robin panel is still up there for me, for sure. And there is Nazim. Good to see you here, my friend. Yes, indeed. Well, I was 16 when I got this jacket, but now the jacket is 30-something years old, 36 years old. So that'll tell you something. Thank you so much. Hey, and there's Glenn. Great to see you, Glenn. Thank you, Nazim. Oh, I think so. I think so. If you just love great stories, you love great literature, at least give it a try. If you don't love it, fine. But there's a reason why so many people love One Piece, for sure. And yeah, I do too. I hear so many great things about Christopher Rocchio's writing, and I'm excited to read Sun Eater next year for sure. I'll be reading Dandelion Dynasty first. No, so yeah, I just started. I answered that earlier, but yes, I've just started Of War and Ruin. So far, so good. Great prologue, by the way. That prologue was like, whoa, okay, this is pretty good. That was one of those moments, like when I read John Gwynn's Hunger of the Gods, book 2 of the Bloodsworn trilogy. I was like, whoa, this is amazing prose. And I got a little bit of that vibe, which I've been hoping for from Ryan's writing there. Yeah, I mean, it's space opera, I guess. A lot of Dune influence, a lot of Book of the New Sun influence. That's what I hear, anyway. The standalone, yes, McScarfield, thank you for asking. I am working on it, sort of, not really, but I should be. I am hoping I'll be able to, during the winter break, polish up all the editing that I wanted to do. I still, definitely 2025, there's no doubt of that. It's just a matter of when I can get it done. But I've been so busy at work, to be honest. That's one reason why I haven't put out a lot of videos lately. I've been busy grading a lot of papers at work. For some reason this semester, it's just been extra difficult. I also have read a bunch of books for the SPFBO contest, and this happens to be the 10th year, so it's SPFBOX, the X being for the Roman numeral 10. And so I'm going to be filming a video with my team, including a couple people here in the chat this evening. I'll be filming it. It'll be out on Monday to tell everyone about the finalists. I'll be talking about the semifinalists that my team gave me and the finalists for SPFBOX, and I'm really excited about it. I'm very excited about our team's finalists for SPFBOX. So check out that video on Monday when it comes out if you're interested in supporting some great authors that happen to be self-published fantasy. So yes, I have a date for that. I think it's the second Saturday in November when I'm going to be getting together with Alan and Jimmy and Patrick. I have that scheduled. So I'll be probably just recording that and then releasing it as a recording. But yeah, that is scheduled and we'll be out in November, mid-November, or even early-ish. Oh, cool. Yeah, the anime is a great way to get that story as well, for sure. And yeah, I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it tremendously, Shad. Definitely. And there's Mirko. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, that's great. I'm so glad to hear that your son enjoys the One Piece videos. Oh, that's great. So I get to connect with you and your son that way. I love that. I actually love that so much. So the next, yes, I believe that the next book after Of War and Ruin is the last in the series. I'm sure Ryan Cahill has other projects ready, and I don't know if they're going to be in the world of Etheria or not, but I anticipate we'll be getting lots more from him. Well, I talked about this actually on the channel 2 to Ramble fairly recently. I did a video with them about prose. And so straightforward versus more poetic prose. But they both have their place for sure. And of course, that's a spectrum. So you could be somewhere in the middle on that, and that's perfectly fine. But if you're looking for a more plot-driven, fast-paced read, then straightforward prose is actually the way to go. Whereas if you're looking for a more, let's say, deep, long-lasting, impactful, maybe pushing the boundaries, that kind of story, then often poetic prose is the better vehicle for that. So it really does depend on what you're looking for, in my opinion. Both have their purpose, so it's not that one is good or bad or anything like that. It's just that I think it depends on what the author is aiming for. For example, Brandon Sanderson is quite well known for his, what does he call it? Transparent prose, which is another way of saying more straightforward, because he doesn't want the reader to have to work too hard. He wants the reader to get through the story relatively quickly. And that's a strategic decision on his part, which I think is great, and a lot of readers, the majority of readers probably do prefer that if they want a more relaxing read. But if you're up for a more of a philosophical, challenging, thought-provoking read, then often it's the more like the Guy Gavriel Kays or the Janny Wurtses, these kinds of writers, Stephen Erickson, the ones who push the boundaries often tend to have more poetic prose. So yeah, that's my short answer to that one. Relatively short. Good to see you, Rogue. And hello, John. Thank you for being here. And that's a good number one, I would say. Okay. I'm trying to get ahead here in the oh yes, of course, yes. I after I finish One Piece, I have a short list. A lot of people have been recommending Berserk to me, Hunter x Hunter, Hunter times Hunter. I don't know how you say that, actually. I've only seen it, or I've only read it, but Hunter, however you say that. That's one I keep hearing about. There are several others that are on my short list. Some older ones. I might want to get into some of the really older manga that were very much at the beginning of the medium. But we'll see. Yeah, I am definitely going to continue reading manga once I finish One Piece. So that's true. Yes, that's why it's 42, Seth. Exactly right. Answer to life. You just have to stay here for the entire stream, however long it lasts. So, oh gosh, Derry, you're asking me that. Oh, that's a hard question. So how do I differentiate between the best books and the most loved books? And that's a very good question. And a very valid question, because they're not always the same, obviously. There are certain books, I think, that have huge nostalgia factor to them. And for many, many, many years, I still think Lord of the Rings is of tremendous quality. It's up there. I still have it in my top 3. So it's up there for me. But nothing could have challenged that for years and years and years. And I got to a point where I went on that Malazan journey, and wow, just got blown away and realized, okay, there's more out there in the world, and that's okay. I think I could have gone my entire life just reading Lord of the Rings again and again and again. I would have been happy, but I'm also very happy to have discovered a broader world out there of other things. And to a certain extent, you have to ignore that nostalgia factor a little bit when you're trying to assess best versus most loved. So for me, in the way, it's still somewhat subjective and a little bit arbitrary. But for me, and one of the reasons why, for me, Malazan does that for me, why it's my favorite right now, is it points to where fantasy can go. And that to me is exciting. I've said it in this way before. Tolkien baptized my imagination, and Stephen Erickson set it free. And I feel like Malazan is just a great, great signpost for fantasy to come in many ways. What you can do with this incredible medium. Certainly for me personally, reading Malazan set my imagination free. And I think that's one reason why my third book, Return to Adan, is a little different from the first 2, because in between the first 2 and the third, I read Malazan. So for me, I don't know how many people would agree with that who've read all 3 books, but some people have said that as well, that they can see more of a Malazan influence in the third book. So, and in the sense that I don't think it's especially Malazan-like, but I felt free to experiment a little bit more in that third book. So, yeah. And I'm way behind in the chat, so I'm going to try to get to a few comments here. Thank you so much. Yes, I do also intend to reread Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn next year. Absolutely. Oh my goodness, I actually cried more in post-war than I did during you wouldn't believe it, during the, you would think, right? But yeah, post-war was what really got me. I'll explain that when I make the video for sure. Yeah, so this one I kind of addressed. And yes, that's a priority for me, for sure. I definitely want to finish the last Ursi book, finish the short stories, and make my the video I've been wanting to make for a long time, which is my why I love Ursi. This is going to be my tribute to Le Guin. And I absolutely, that is priority. Probably won't happen till December, but definitely before the end of the year. So that actually could be true. I don't know, John. That could be true about the invention of Tweed. Yes, so I answered that one. And thank you so much, Krishnan. Deeply appreciated. And Jake has the right idea here. Witness. And thank you. Yeah, probably by, I think, a week from today. It does take me time to absorb everything, especially this one, the Summit War Saga. Boy, it just punched me in the gut there. But I think I'll say Saturday-ish. So, yes. And I would love to discuss Ursi with you, Anita, for sure. And yes, and I have discussed Ursi with Glenn and with Bill, and that's in my Le Guin playlist. So I had a great time discussing the first three. I think we did, right, Glenn? Was it the first three? We actually did. No, we did Tahano as well, didn't we? Yeah. So I hosted that fourth one. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. This is true. This is my straw hat right here. That is true. And oh man, I'm always jealous of how many books Mick Scarfield is able to read. So, oh, do I intend to read The Expanse? You know, I think that's James S.A. Corey or whatever the guy's name is. It's not one guy, obviously. I think that's the one that's co-written by Daniel Abraham and someone else. Look, I loved Long Price Quartet. I think it's just brilliant. So I probably would try anything that Daniel Abraham had something to do with at some point or other, for sure. And Dandelion Dynasty, yes. So Dandelion Dynasty is first, and Joanna and I, and who else is in that? Christopher Navo, I think. I can't remember. I mean, so many buddy reads. But yes, Dandelion Dynasty. Once Joanna and I finish, I think, with R. Scott Baker's series, we're on the Great Ordeal now, which she has started, and I have not because I am terrible. But I'll get there. I promise, Joanna. And once we finish with Baker, I think that's when we'll be ready to start with Dandelion Dynasty. So it's actually probably going to honestly end up being in January, I think. But I will be reading The Great Ordeal very soon, and I can't wait. I mean, Baker is just brilliant. I can't, guys, just be warned, though, if you do read the Second Apocalypse series, it's extremely bleak, extremely depressing, graphic, and all of that. So just beware. So, and speaking of the devil, or the elf, I should say, the assassin elf, there's Joanna. Thank you so much. It's good to see you here, my friend. And lots of people wanting to read Dandelion Dynasty. Yeah, I hear great things. Very excited about that. And moving ahead. Yes, I've heard. So I'm hearing about this recently, and I'm told I should wait until I read the next arc. So, the Return to Shabandi, or however you guys want to say that. I'm cool with that. I was taught to say Shabandi, but I have to finish that next arc after the Summit War, and then it's very short too, I think. And then I'm told I should read or watch this One Piece fan letter. So. And that is what I'll do, because I listen to the One Piece fans, because they have never, ever given me the wrong advice. Yep. Okay. I addressed that. And I've heard of Death Note as well. It sounds interesting. So, yeah. Yes. Thank you, Nazim. I I'm blown away by how great that audiobook is. I'm going to keep coming back to that because Alan just did such a tremendous job. And Anita, yes, I mean, you have good taste, I have to say. So yes, returned. Yes, thank you. That's exactly the advice that I've been seeing, and that is what I am going to do. So, oh, that's not addressed to me. Okay, good. Oh, yes. Well, I try anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna check that out for sure. And there's Britain. Yes, I mean, I've done some great, well, I say great, I like them. I've done some, I think, hopefully helpful series with AP, with the Critical Dragon, and about aspects of prose. I had that discussion, like I said, with Two to Ramble. So we've made some videos on the topic before. It is a bit of a confusing topic. Okay, cool. Thank you, Heidi. I thought so too, but I wasn't sure. So, and there's one of my team members, Abel Montero, fantastic supporter of indie fantasy out there. So good to see you, Abel. I'm going to be talking with him tomorrow. And again, that video for SPFBO is going to be out on Monday. So good to see you, my friend. And yep, will do. And oh, Hunter. Okay, that's how you say that. Thank you. Okay. There is an X there, but I guess you just say Hunter. All right, cool. And trying to skip over the, do I love mystery books? I don't read mystery as a genre on its own, but I don't mind having mystery in my fantasy. And one of the books that I read for SPFBO, for example, has a strong mystery element in it. So yeah, I think that I probably do like mystery, and I would have enjoyed it if I had time to read it a little more even. But I used to, when I was a lot younger, watch a little bit of the Poirot and that kind of thing, the BBC Poirot production. And so that's obviously Agatha Christie. So I like mystery. I just haven't really gotten that much into it, to be honest. What else have we got here? Yeah, that's true. I don't watch anime. That is for sure. Although I'm not opposed to it, I just am much more comfortable reading. But I try to try new things to keep myself, young in spirit at least. Yes, Boudica. Oh, yes, I definitely want to watch it. I came so close, actually, Heidi, because of you, to recommending it for the Quilluminati. But I don't think everyone was quite ready for a 4-book series there. So I will read it, though. And I've heard Ed and Will over at the Brothers Gwyn say so many great things about it. So I will eventually. But I'm really excited about what the Quilluminati is going to be reading, which is this baby right here, The Last Kingdom by Bernard Cornwell. So, and here is Mirko again. Yeah, I could revisit that. I mean, that video I made, I'm sort of simultaneously proud of it and also embarrassed because it's only 17 minutes. It's not really enough time to really do justice to the origins of fantasy. But I think it's good. I mean, I felt like I missed some important things, but it's probably a good start. I should definitely follow up on that. So there you go. Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. Why not? That is I think I totally get that. I totally get the love for Wheel of Time, and I may be like that with Lord of the Rings too. I have so much nostalgia for Lord of the Rings, so much love for it. It's just in my DNA that maybe I should go. I'm going to steal that, DK, from now on. Although I don't know, Malazan, just never mind. I probably won't steal it, but thank you, my friend. So good to see you here. Yes, I know, right? I'm trying my best to keep up with the times, to keep up with you youngsters out there. So yeah, but yeah, I'm giving it my best shot here and learning as I go. So thank you. Yeah, I had a great time talking with Bookborn and with Jimmy and with Taylor from Made Between the Pages. We just had a great chat about the final book in the Green Bone Saga. which is great. Highly recommend that trilogy by Fonda Lee. And there is Jared. Yes, I got to do the Earthsea first, and then I will move on to science fiction. And I do intend to pick your brain, Jared, when I finally do that. So get ready for me to pester you in 2025. So yes. Oh, wait, I thought I already saw that one. Maybe it came twice. I have read the first book in the Thomas Covenant series. And that was when I was a teenager, I think. It was a long time ago, and I need to reread it. That's a goal of mine, is to cover Stephen Donaldson on this channel. I probably will start by going back to the Thomas Covenant series and rereading Lord Fowl's Bane, and then continuing in the series. So I can't honestly say that's going to happen in 2025, but if it doesn't, it'll be 2026 for sure. And okay. All right. Oh, Evie, you're not late. You arrived precisely when you meant to, which is perfect. And thank you for being here. And thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I will. That is a huge goal of mine, is to actually get into Le Guin's science fiction for sure. Okay. Yeah, I have read Hyperion, actually, and the following book. I've only read those two. And again, this was 30 plus years ago when I read Hyperion. So I will probably have to reread that as well at some point. Lots of rereads in the future for me. Some great ones, though. I would like to get to more of Janny Wurts' novellas, for sure, Jennifer. The priority is definitely, though, to get through the main series. But I won't be able to stop reading Janny Wurts' books after that. So I'm kind of thinking that I will be covering the novellas as well, and looking forward to every single one of them because she's just so brilliant. She deserves all the praise. So I am trying, Heidi. I am trying. It's impossible. And this, I'll probably end the stream before I get to everyone, but you know. Oh, Evie, we have to fix that. We'll have to fix that for sure. Thank you so much, NA, for being here. Nice young channel there by NA Summer. He's getting into the game here. Also an indie writer like myself. And no, I have not read Romance of Three Kingdoms. And look at this. Slay, you are too kind. What a great person. Okay, Berserk is your favorite manga of all time. And Brian and John, they would be good guys to read that with. I also would love to talk about Berserk with Jimmy because I feel like he's that's a favorite of his too, I think. So he would be a good person to talk with about it. But thank you so much. Yes, we're getting to that soon. We are going to get to the Great Ordeal very soon. Hopefully before November ends, you'll be seeing that discussion with Joanna. And there is Kurt, my friend. Thank you so much. It's so good to see you here. Oh, am I so far behind? Oh dear. Yeah. Oh, I gotta say hello to these guys. Hey, there's the brothers Gwyn. And thank you so much, Ed. I so appreciate it. I am so excited to read The Fury of the Gods and discuss it with you and Will and with Mike and with Patrick and with Sam from Iceland. That Sam, I know so many cool Sams nowadays, but this Sam is actually British, but he lives in Iceland and knows Icelandic, so he's going to be a big help. And of course, Papa Gwyn. Papa Gwyn is going to be talking with us about The Fury of the Gods. I am so excited. This is the thing I'm most excited for at this moment, actually. So, yay. And do I have a preference between soft magic or hard magic? That is an easy one for me to answer. Soft all the way. And I wouldn't even call it a system at that point. I think system works if you're talking about hard magic. Yes, that is a system. But when you're talking about what Sanderson calls soft magic, it's not even a system, really. It just is. It's just there. It's magic, right? And I have a preference, probably because I'm a little older, but also just because I love a sense of wonder and mystery in magic. And I feel like when it gets systematized, you take some of that out of it, for me anyway, as a reader. So I have a preference. But That said, I do admire the skill of an author like Sanderson when they do this hard magic system thing and they weave it into the story. They make it an important element of the plot. In other words, discovering how the magic works and going on that journey with the character. I think that works really well. And there's a reason why so many people love that. So yeah, that's my take on it. And Dandelion Dynasty. Oh yeah, there's the pronunciation. Yeah, Saba Odi is how a lot of people who come to it from that perspective do. And then there were the people who were telling me no, in Japanese it's Shabandi. So I'm fine either way with that. So sorry, Chaz. You're long gone, but thank you for coming. So Wheel of Time. Yes, I have read the series Wheel of Time, and I think it's fantastic. I think it's a great achievement. I actually just participated in a video that Sam Harrison put out, a kind of why we love Wheel of Time video. I read Wheel of Time many years ago. I actually finished it when the last book, the 14th book, came out. When that came out, that was the year I read it. And I haven't returned to Wheel of Time since then. But it was a great series, highly impactful, not just for me, but for the genre. I admire the scale of it. I admire the ambition of it. I admire so many things about Wheel of Time. Just the greatness of the character arcs, where these characters start, where they end up. It's just vast. So there's a lot of great things I can say about Wheel of Time, for sure. And I think that Sanderson also did a great job of finishing up that series. Thank goodness, after Robert Jordan passed away. So yes, thank you so much, Random Guy. And moving on in the chat a little further. Have I read James Michener? No, I have not. I need to read more historical fiction, Jennifer, for sure. And it is unfortunately a challenge to get copies of her books. You have to go all the different routes, I think. But I've had the most success just using Amazon. Maybe, I don't know, eBay or something. I wish I could give you better advice there, but mostly I've been able to find them using Amazon myself. And yes, Warlord Chronicles 2025 for sure. Or I will close up my YouTube channel, Gary, if I don't read Warlord Chronicles in 2025. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm totally game for that. So yeah, Mike, we can move the Illuminati discussion if that's necessary. Totally fine with me. And let me move ahead in the chat. Yeah, it is technically, I mean, but I think what you can read it. I read this like a long time ago. I'm pretty sure you can read it as a standalone as well, meaning The Last Kingdom. So fair enough. But I think it's okay to read that one as a standalone. Whereas I'm not sure that's true of Boudica. So maybe it is. I don't know. And continuing. Yeah, a lot of people are getting into this. Yeah, good. Mike, I know, is loving the Second Apocalypse. I can see it easily becoming one of his very favorites. Okay. Yes, okay. Newer. I mean, as soon as Steven Erikson puts out a book, I'm reading it. And hopefully I'll get to talk with him as well. I would love to be in more chats with Steven Erikson, for sure. It's been a while since I've had him on the channel. Absolutely. Discworld. I love Discworld so far. I've only read 4 books. I intend to use the more of the books as kind of, I haven't been able to do this. I've been meaning to do it, but I definitely want to read more of the books as a kind of in between big series, just to catch my breath. I had a great time reading Guards, and Equal Rights, the first of the Witch books. I didn't love the first 2 books that I read in Discworld, so that's one reason why it took me so long to get back to it. The Color of Magic and The Light Fantastic. But I understand now that they aren't necessarily the best in the series. According to a lot of people, I'm sure they have their fans. But once I read Guards and Equal Rights, I realized, oh, this is why people love Discworld. I get it. So School year. Oh goodness, it's a crazy busy time right now, which is why I haven't been doing any videos, honestly. But okay, Glenn, I will definitely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your support and dropping by to say congrats. I deeply appreciate that. Hekatos Anime, I love your comments very much and appreciate you. Yep, I have read Hyperion, but it's been a long time, and I could easily do it. I just remember the strike scaring the heebie-jeebies out of me, honestly. So yeah, I just finished the Summit War saga, so I'll be releasing a video pretty soon. Weird question. Okay, original TV show or movie to turn into a book? Oh, I don't know. Gosh. I'm the worst person in the whole world to ask this question because I don't watch much TV. And when I do watch, it's usually an adaptation. I'll have to think about that. I bet some people in the chat have better answers than I would. Okay, yeah. I mean, that does feel highly appropriate. You're right. Whitebeard. I mean, who wouldn't want to be Whitebeard, man? Ha, that guy's amazing. So, question here. Symphony of Ages. I don't know. I actually don't know much about that, so I'd love to hear more. Yeah. And yes, I love collaborating with the Nemesis. Thank you so much. 4 corners of the page. Love collaborating with him. He is extremely busy at the moment. Big things going on in his life. But hopefully we'll be hearing more from him later in the year. I hope. I always love watching AP's videos. And hopefully we'll get to harass him some more before the year gives out here. So, yeah, you could do that. I have no idea how far back I am here, but I'm just plodding through these comments, which I love so much. Oh gosh, a book review I wish I could redo. I'm kind of I don't know. I'll have to think about that one, Samwise. I don't really have anything that springs to mind where I feel like, gosh, I really messed that up. I will say though, this will be a good answer for you actually. I'm going to reread Book of the New Sun and probably do brand new videos on that because the first time I read it, I was like, this is fascinating, but I don't think I'm getting a lot of this. So I'm going to reread Book of the New Sun. Maybe that will make you happy. And then move on to what's after that, Earth of the New Sun. So yeah, and some more. Okay, appreciate that. Thank you so much, Malcolm X. I love you right back. And to answer the question, yeah, I would say Tolkien's is regarded as soft magic for sure. Yes. And yeah, Marineford probably in about a week, I would say. And there's NA. Hello. And here is Jennifer. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. So Jennifer says, I just want to express my gratitude to you and other booktubers for shining a light on Janny Wurts. She is one of my favorite authors. Her talent deserves the spotlight. I agree with you 100%. Janny Wurts is amazing. She is just such a dynamo, so knowledgeable. Her books are so deep and so beautifully crafted. I have to give credit to AP here because AP is the very first person who said, people need to read this series. He is the one who definitely put it on my radar. And I don't think you'd be seeing anyone else in our corner of YouTube doing these Janny Wurts read-alongs if it hadn't been for AP, because he's the one that definitely in the beginning was the one who said, I'm going to read Wars of Light and Shadow. And I was basically like, I think it was near the end of our Malazan read together. And I was like, well, I want to keep bothering you, AP. I want to keep hanging out with you and bothering you. So I'm going to read along with you. So I kind of invited myself to read Wars of Light and Shadow alongside AP. And then we've got other people reading with us. The wonderful Joanna is still with us doing this read. And I'm enjoying it so much. So thank you, Jennifer, so much. And yeah, there's somebody who likes the hard magic system. Totally get it. And it definitely does feel more sciencey to me as well. So that makes sense. Yes, definitely. When I'm caught up with One Piece, I intend to do chapter by chapter and just keep up with everybody and theorize and have fun. So absolutely. I would expect nothing less from you, Mix Garfield, than a huge list of references. I'm looking forward to that very, very much. Yes, and here's John from Talking Story is doing a huge read along of Wars of Light and Shadow as well. So if you want to try it out, go and check out Talking Story and see what he's going to be doing there with Brian from Belltube, and a bunch of other people are getting in on this read along. It's going to be a huge event next year, starting in January. So everybody should get into that. Okay, I'm going to scroll down a little faster here. More Berserk fans there in the comments. And here is Nerdy Kathy. Thank you so much. Have your taste in books changed over the years? And if so, how? I think my taste in books has actually been pretty uniform through the years, in the sense that I love fantasy. Ever since the first fantasy series I read was Lloyd Alexander's The Chronicles of Prydain, and loved it. And then moved on to Tolkien. Once I read Lord of the Rings, I was completely hooked. Now, it had my sense, my tastes have changed to the degree that the genre has been expanding in the best way. It's become a much more diverse genre, and I think it is more powerful and more just wonderful as a result of that. So as the genre has been expanding, so too have my tastes. And I think that's a good thing, because it keeps life interesting to have different horizons out there. So I love that fantasy as a genre. Now, I, of course, as a PhD student, read a lot of medieval literature, but I also dabbled in other kinds of literature. I was a huge fan at one time of 19th century British literature, novels particularly. So I read a lot of 19th century novels, for example. It's been a little while since I did that, but big fan of George Eliot, for example, and Thomas Hardy, the Bronte sisters. I love that stuff. I had a great time reading Dickens as well. So, and I got to say hi to T. Baggins. Hello. Good to see you here. And the best tip for a Malazan nude is relax and enjoy it as much as you can. And if you feel confused, it's okay. You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable sometimes. That's what I'm going to say for that. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely going to read them too. Warlord Chronicles, for sure. Historical fiction. If I couldn't read fantasy, what genre would be my backup? Definitely historical fiction. I actually enjoy historical fiction a lot. A little more than science fiction. That science fiction would probably be my third, I guess. So, yep. Yeah, for sure, right? I agree, Glenn. I think Discworld can function as a marvelous palate cleanser. And I do want to read that as well, Mirko. You're mentioning Gene Wolfe's Wizard Knight. That intrigues me from what I've heard about it. I would like to give that a try. Thank you so much, Dan, for your kind words. I really appreciate you. Really appreciate those kind words from you. And I think I already highlighted that. So moving on. Here's another manga recommendation. Thank you so much. Good Night Pun Pun. I don't think I've heard of that one before. Okay. Oh, Derry has an answer for the TV to book question. Thank you, Derry. Motherland. Okay, which I don't know, of course. Oh, congrats. That's awesome. Medieval fantasy. Oh gosh. Well, everybody knows the answer to this one. For me, it's got to be Beowulf. Beowulf, which of course was a huge inspiration for Tolkien, not just in terms of the world, but thematically. A lot of that Ubi Sunt stuff. That where are those who've come before us? All that stuff. Tolkien gets it right out of Beowulf. So definitely, that's my easy pick there. Well said about the nemesis. Oh my goodness. Whoa. Ty Muhammad. I have to stop on this one. Just had a son. It's difficult to describe the tumult of emotions rushing through me at the moment. Can you speak of how you felt when you had your first child? Oh, congratulations, my friend. Congratulations. What a beautiful thing. I congratulate you and your family. My best wishes to your baby and to the mother. I hope that she's doing well. Just wonderful to hear. It is impossible to describe the tumult of emotions, but I will tell you this. I didn't cry I can't remember when I stopped crying as a boy, but at some point I stopped crying as a boy. Like many boys growing up in America, you're taught that crying is weak and that kind of thing. So I didn't cry for many years. And I didn't cry until my first daughter was born. And when she was born, when she came out, I couldn't hold back the tears. There was a floodgate that opened. And now I'm the biggest softie ever. I cry at commercials. I cry all the time. And I'm very proud of it. But yeah, it's just such a wonderful thing. Tears of joy. I congratulate you, Ty, on this wonderful day. This is so big. Congratulations. How wonderful is that? Okay. Yes, that's actually true. I think that Murphy chose Murphy Napier 42 as her Twitch name or whatever because of exactly the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Exactly. And she loved that book, I think. Another fan of hard magic out there. Fair. I think that's perfectly fine. And let's see. A new Malazan reader next year. All right, Krish, go for it. And thank you so much. I appreciate you taking on the Adam trilogy as well. Thank you. I'm so glad people enjoyed that Vinland Saga that I did with Murphy. That was my first manga ever, and I loved Vinland Saga. I just had such a good time with that. Oh, thank you so much, Peter. All right. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, Alan just knocked it out of the park. Alan is going to be a famous audiobook narrator. He really should be. And I don't mind taking a little bit of that fame as the first book series that he narrated. So very happy to be the first. Not yet. I mean, because I wrote all my books before I started, and even the book that I'm working on now, I basically wrote it a few years ago before I ever read any manga. I could say that maybe comic books, though, influenced me in ways that I'm not even conscious or aware of, because I was a big comic book reader when I was a kid. So it's in there somewhere, I'm sure. But going forward in the future, who knows? Maybe manga will be a more of an influence. Probably, yes, definitely. I'm breaking up the sagas into arcs for a lot of the One Piece stuff now because it's just getting too big, which is wonderful. Okay, yes, I will be doing that for sure. And I was, I think, about 12, Yvonne, when I read Lord of the Rings the first time. And yes, I would love to collaborate with Murphy again. I would love to. Yeah, the Vagabond collab with her was just before One Piece. Vagabond was my favorite manga. I have to say One Piece is easily now up on this summit by itself. But I will read more manga for sure. So what else have we got here? Okay, more manga recommendations. Awesome. Good. Full Metal Alchemist. Okay. Definitely one I have heard about. And there is a question. Does the tweed go well with leather patches? I do have one of them. It's actually a herringbone jacket, to be technical about it, but that does have the elbow patches. This one does not have elbow patches. However, but I do think elbow patches work well. So, and that's fair. You know, again, Chris, some of my favorite writers in fantasy also lean heavily into sci-fi. Mark Lawrence, for example. He just doesn't care about genre boundaries at all. And you will find all of a sudden you realize while reading a Mark Lawrence trilogy, wait, I thought I was reading fantasy. And it turns out you're reading science fiction, you know? So a lot of great Gene Wolfe does, I think, a lot of that too in Book of the New Sun. I don't even know if it's categorizable really. And that's great. I actually love it when authors do that as well, for sure. And getting more great recommendations here. I'm going to skip over a bunch of stuff though, so I can make an attempt at catching up with all you people. That's one way of looking at it. That's one way of looking at it. Yeah, so I'm not the only one. Yeah. T Baggins, yeah, you're with me there. So yeah. And yes, a pleasure, and congrats to Ty. How wonderful is that? Mercy's from 1942. Hey, there's Tom. I had a great time watching bits of the live stream last night on with Jimmy, chatting with Nuts. There were 2 Tom Oranges there, though. I had to, kind of clean my glasses and make sure I wasn't seeing things because, yeah, there were 2 of you last night. More muscle than I've seen since I last went to a gym, which was a long time ago. So thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it so much. And yes, I hope that Murphy is immortal. That would be great. And thank you so much, my friend. I am so privileged to know you, Brian. So happy to have a friend like you here on this platform. I am just blessed to be here. Really appreciate you. And I'm so happy that we're going to be having so many discussions to come. That makes me really feel good about life. So, and yeah, who is this guy, right, John? Who is this guy? Uh-oh. My top 4. Wait a minute. Then that means you're going to be in your own top 4 video, Brian. I don't know how you're going to do that. But since you are the Magnus Cassius, the big cheese, the grand poobah of the Quilluminati, I guess you can do that, right? I mean, that's only fair. Probably it's only fair if you have the number 1 spot as well. Chainsaw Man, I have heard of Chainsaw Man. Thank you. Yes, I have heard of it. And do I see myself liking fantasy more than Crippled God? I don't see it happening, but I would be happy if it did happen. I would be very open to having an experience like that again, like the Crippled God. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, Crippled God is the final book in the Malazan Book of the Fallen, book 10 of that series. And it's my easy answer to the question, what's your favorite book of all time right now? So if I ever come across something that rivals it or surpasses it, I might have a heart attack and just die in that moment, which would be a good way to go. I've always thought maybe I would love to die on the tennis court, going at it and just having maybe a heart attack or something. But I wouldn't mind going out reading a great book either. So you never know. What older fantasy series? Oh my goodness, so many, Kathy. So what older fantasy series have you not read but are looking forward to reading? So I don't know if it qualifies necessarily. It's probably more gothic than fantasy, but it's the Gormenghast trilogy is definitely one. I'm really looking forward to reading more Guy Gavriel Kay. That's not exactly old, but it's older than a lot of stuff that I am reading right now. But definitely, if we're talking really older stuff, then Gormenghast is my quick answer to that one for sure. I feel bad that I haven't read it yet, but a lot of people say it's some of the greatest prose you'll come across. Yeah, I know. I feel the same way. So thank you so much. Thank you, the Ganondorf 96. Really appreciate your kind words. And another endorsement for Full Metal Alchemist. Very good. I love doing videos with my daughters, and I did a bunch with my older daughter who's cool with it, but she lives away from home. She's on her own, so it's harder to do videos with her. She's been in an Edan trilogy discussion, though, most recently, and has been in other videos with me. The younger daughter, back when she was 12, was willing to be in videos, but not so much these days. So who knows? Maybe she'll have a different phase later on and come back to the channel. So nothing, no plans, no firm plans, but I love talking to them. They're the two lights of my life. So I always love, some of my fondest memories really are reading to the two of them when they were little. So yeah, would love to have them more, but I understand perfectly that it's not exactly cool sometimes to be with your goofy dad on his YouTube channel. So that's all good too. So yes. Yeah, me too, Glenn. I do love the blurred lines for sure. Yep. Between genres. So yeah. And moving on here. If I can get to, sometimes this sticks. There we go. Would I ever consider using Discord? I'm so bad. I'm so bad at other social media. I'm awful when it comes to Discord. Sometimes people leave me a message and I don't notice. I don't know it's there. So I apologize if any of you have ever done that. I just don't have time between having a job and having a family and doing this YouTube channel and trying to be a writer, all these things. And I don't have time. I wish I could be on Discord hanging out with you guys more. But it's just not something that fits at the moment in my life. So yeah, I probably won't do that in the foreseeable future. I'm definitely going to read Sun Eater in 2025 for sure. And also Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn in 2025. Big events for next year. Oh, yes, Alan. Everybody loves Alan. And Where Am I in One Piece? Just finished Summit War. I'm very excited to make that video. Probably be out in about a week. And my favorite, this is so hard. Somebody did ask me this earlier, sort of, kind of. It's going to be tough for me to determine between Enies Lobby and what I just read. So I have to let what I just read sink in a little bit before I can answer that question. But I can tell you right now, it's going to be really tough. Having finished Marineford and the post-war arc, it's up there with Enies Lobby for me, and I'm gonna have to think about it. So yep. And more manga recommendations. Thank you so much. Thank you, Capricious Fox. Always appreciate you. And yeah, it's crazy how stories can pull on our emotions like that. It's just insane. Yeah, I love a lot of different. Thank you, Paul Brothers, for the question. I love a lot of different subgenres of fantasy for sure. I think epic fantasy is my kind of like my jam. It's my bread and butter. Epic fantasy, especially as defined by someone like Stephen Donaldson and the essays that he wrote about epic fantasy. I also love this term that people are using for Janny Wurts's books called transcendental fantasy. It's not an official subgenre, but it should be. Transcendental fantasy. I think Stephen Erickson's books could fall in that as well. The Malazan Book of the Fallen. Definitely Janny Wurts. And Janny Wurts has done me the tremendous honor of basically saying, I think your books, the Adan trilogy, that is my books, could fall into this category as well. Transcendental fantasy. So yeah, but epic fantasy is kind of my bread and butter. But I love other kinds of fantasy. I love getting into the weird. I love historical fantasy. One of my favorite self-published fantasies is Von Roycroft's The Severed. The Severing Sun is the first book. The Sundered Nation trilogy is the name of the trilogy. So yeah, it's very much historical fantasy based on the interactions between the Goths and the Romans, for example. So I love that. I love all kinds, really, and that's part of the joy. The joy of this genre is that we have so many different things to choose from. Paradise Lost. I am about to teach Paradise Lost, actually, in my survey course, and it's tremendous. So many things have been inspired by Milton's Paradise Lost, and he, in turn, of course, was inspired by the great Greek epics, which he liberally stole from in Paradise Lost. Of course, he claimed the Holy Spirit as his muse. So, that doesn't take any hubris, right? But yeah, I think he did some interesting things and posed some interesting questions. For example, if you're interested in the question of whether or not we have free will, Paradise Lost. Want to see a cool character arc? Look at Satan in Paradise Lost. You want to look at some interesting takes on gender dynamics? Look at Adam and Eve in Paradise Lost. So many great things that you can talk about when you get into Paradise Lost. So, and there's Ty again. Oh, yeah, sorry. Somebody should have told you that, Ty. Yep. And guess what? There's no way to turn it off now. So good luck with that. Just carry a handkerchief around with you. That's my best advice. All right. Thank you, Glenn. You're probably long gone, but who's my favorite Malazan character? Gosh, there are so many great characters that I love. I'm going to say Tihul. Tihul is my favorite. I love the dynamic between Tihul and Bug, and I love what Tihul does in the series. You have to finish The Crippled God. You have to get to the end to see everything that Tihul does. But yeah, that's my answer to that. Oh yeah, that is definitely better. the Magnus Cassius is definitely better than the Maximus Gluteus. That's true, Griftkin. Well said. I won't translate the Latin. You can look it up. Yeah, I don't know. Now you're making me. Oh gosh, Crippled God over Beowulf. Oh, yes, I have to say yes. I'm going to. Is AP the biggest villain on YouTube? Well, when you're here on this channel, of course he is. He is the Nemesis, capital N Nemesis. Nobody else. So yeah, if you're here now, if you're at a Critical Dragon, I don't know why you would want to hang out there, but if you're on a Critical Dragon, then you might get a different answer, David. But when you're here, that is definitely the correct answer. Oh, ouch. Griftkin, you are on a roll, though, I have to say. Poor John. There's a Gormenghast fan. Oh, you're asking me impossible questions. Where does One Piece rank amongst your favorite series right now? So I'm going to just do a total cop-out here. And I'm going to, I don't know if I'll last, if I'll be able to defend this position in the long term, but right now I'm just going to say I feel weird about mixing manga with novels. And hear me out, because it's a different medium. It's a different kind of storytelling. There is a highly visual, there's a pictorial aspect to manga that just does not exist in novels. So I feel like it's a slightly different experience. It'd be like, not quite, but a little bit like asking, what are your, asking me to mix up movies along with, no, there is a reading element in both. So it's not quite the same. I'll grant you that, but I feel like it's almost impossible for me to rank manga and mix it in with novels. At least that's my position right now. You can change my mind. But it is one of the greatest stories for sure of all time, though. It is the story of this generation, in my opinion. One Piece is the story of this generation in a way that like Harry Potter was for a previous generation. And I love One Piece. I personally, I did read Harry Potter with my daughters, and I liked it well enough. But One Piece is just something to me that is just deeply special. And not only has it captured the imagination of a whole generation, and it's so international, but it also speaks to such important themes in such really profoundly important ways. So yeah, is it my favorite of all time? Well, I don't know. If I mix up novels and manga, I don't know if I can do that. So we'll see. So yeah, I want to read the end of Vinland Saga whenever the last bind up comes out. That's my plan. I hope that actually happens. Yay, more GGK for sure. And okay, yeah, for sure. Gormenghast. Yep, I answered this one before, but definitely yes, Sun Eater. And oh, this is true. Yeah, I mean, I would be all for it. My family is they're shy. Let's just put it that way. Wonderful people. Would I ever let viewers choose a book for me? Maybe. I mean, I've been kind of bullied into reading Warlord. What is it? Warlord Chronicles by Bernard Cornwell. So I'm going to count that for now. So, although I'm actually really secretly looking forward to it very much. So I guess that's fair. Oh, yes. Okay, good. Cool. I've heard a little bit about that one too. I'm not sure how to say it. Frieren. I'm sorry, but it looks cool. Yeah. Thank you for that, Sandman. We did put on pause for obvious reasons. I've talked about it before, so I won't get into it too much. But my TBR is going to be hijacked. Oh no, that's no good. Oh, thank you so much, Peter. That's very kind of you. I love being a dad. I really love being a dad. It's probably, when I look back on my life, I'm pretty sure, however long it is, when I look back, I think my greatest accomplishment is going to be those two daughters of mine, for sure. Okay. Skip the. Okay. I don't know. That's interesting advice. All right. My favorite class to teach is probably on a regular basis. I mean, my favorite class to teach ever was my fantasy novels course, which is the reason why I started this channel. Actually, it was actually originally going to be a supplement to my fantasy novels course. Unfortunately, that never runs anymore because the humanities have been attacked all over the place. So currently my favorite course to teach is my English classics course, which is the medieval and Renaissance literature course, I would say. So yeah, Sun Eater is going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. What books or stories would you say are good fantasy introductions to read to younger children? Do you have a favorite story you used to read to your kids? Okay, thank you, TC. And other people in the chat, please feel free to answer this, but I would go with The Hobbit is definitely one. As I said a few moments ago, I read Harry Potter with my daughters and loved the experience so much. Also, my daughters loved the Rick Riordan books, the Percy Jackson books. Those were great. So for, not knowing the exact age of the kids that you're referring to, are they beyond picture books? Are we talking just straight up text here? Those would be the ones I'd go to, like The Hobbit and Harry Potter and the Percy Jackson books. Those are obvious answers, though, so maybe there's some cool, interesting ones in there. I just read one book that I could recommend as well, a middle grade book for the SPFBO that my friend Brian, it was his semifinalist. I think it'd be a wonderful book to read to a kid. And that is The Tenacious Tale of Tana the Tender Sword. The Tenacious Tale of Tana the Tender Sword. And Tana is spelled with 2 N's. So maybe, Brian, you could mention that in the chat if you're still around. So we have more Sun Eater people like Tom. Cool. And Jason wants to come along for the Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn thing. Yeah, it'd be great to have people come along. That's probably a little far in 2025, so I haven't quite organized it yet. I won't argue with you there about Marineford and post-war. Okay, but Water 7 is still your favorite. Okay, I won't argue with that either, because Ennis Ford, which is part of Water 7. Yeah. And I'm with you, Derry. Tom should definitely read Hob. He's going to love Hob. And awesome. Good luck with writing. And you will get to your 25K. I can feel it. You will definitely do it. So did I do research on Buddhism just for the Yen trilogy? Yeah, no, actually, I did not. I have to say that I got into, I'm no expert on Buddhism. I had a great chat, by the way, on Joanna's channel recently with a real Buddhist monk. So that was a lot of fun. And Joanna hosted that on Why Read. And just had a great discussion. But I got into Buddhism basically because I lived in South Asia and I lived in Nepal. which, by the way, the Buddha was born in what is now Nepal. So it was a good place to start reading about Buddhism. And it attracts me as a philosophy. I don't think I would ever be a practicing Buddhist or anything like that, but as a philosophy, as a way of living one's life, I think there's a lot of wisdom in Buddhism. So it's just something that I got into, and it informed the Aden trilogy in a big way, especially the way that I portrayed magic in the trilogy. That is really a very much inspired by not only Buddhism, but also Hinduism, and the way of seeing us as essentially connected beings in the world, that we are not isolated, no matter how much we do attempt to assert our difference, assert our superiority, and separation from nature. We are part of this world. So that is something that most definitely informed my approach to magic in the Aden trilogy, big time. So manga recommendations, yay! Okay, thank you so much. And okay, all right. I think I missed some context there. Thank you so much, RJL. Really appreciate it so much. And let's see, where did I go here? I think I clicked on something I wasn't supposed to. Oh yeah, there I am. I'm not that far behind. Okay, I'm getting there, guys. It's actually good if I don't catch up. It's a little bit like never being able to read all the books that you want to read. There's something on the horizon. So thank you so much, Moosh. I think you have commented before, at least once that I can recall. But I really appreciate you being here. How do you read more books? Well, I think there's a lot of advice for that. What I personally do, what works for me, is I just don't have any TV to speak of in my life. I don't spend a lot of time on the internet other than YouTube. And I just make it my priority. It's at a certain point in my life, actually it's weird because I was in graduate school and I was doing a lot of reading then for my PhD. Of course, I was reading a lot of really great stuff, but I realized that I wasn't reading for enjoyment. And I realized that it was making me sad. So I made a promise to myself that I would read every day, something just for love of reading, just for love of the story. And it was one of my best decisions I've ever made in my life. Never regretted that one. So yeah, make the commitment. Do it for yourself, I would say. So yeah. I'm not the best to talk about audiobooks, but yeah, Derry's right. That's a great way to consume stories as well, especially if you're listening to Alan from the Library of Alexandria. I have no bias in saying that whatsoever. My favorite villain. I mean, would it be cheating if I gave you a villain from my own trilogy? Because that would be Yoramon, for sure, from my own trilogy. Yoramon. Partly because there's something of me in him, I think, in Yoramon. I'm not saying he's based on me or anything like that. Please don't misunderstand me. But he was my favorite one to write, for sure. Somebody who fascinated me. But other than that, I don't know who's my favorite. I'll have to think about that. I did kind of give you an answer, though. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So many of you One Piece fans are so considerate, and I so appreciate that. I love it when you guys tell me, take your time, consume the story at the pace that works best for you. That is very wise advice. I love it. Oh, no, least favorite. That's hard. Gosh, that's hard. I don't have a least favorite. That's a cop-out. It is, but I really can't come up with an answer. I will say, though, that The Crippled God is my favorite. I also loved Memories of Ice. I also love The Bone Hunters. So that's book 3 and 6. It's hard to say. I mean, I could easily say, well, maybe a slightly weaker one could be... I don't know, Dust of Dreams. That's the 9th book. But without Dust of Dreams, you don't have The Crippled God. So I don't even feel comfortable saying that. So, yeah. Okay, so Tom is backing me up here on that. Yeah, I feel the same way, Tom. Thank you on the not mixing manga and novels thing. And yeah, okay, thank you for helping me with that. All right, good. I'm getting some support there. And look who is here. Look who is here. I cannot believe it. It is the nemesis himself. We didn't say anything at all about you, AP. Not a word. You didn't come up even once in this live stream. So yeah, I don't know. Just maybe I don't know what was it that brought you here. I have no idea. I mean, I would never have said anything behind your back or anything like that. It is so good to see you. I also know that you are tremendously busy right now, my friend. Nemesis. So yes, I appreciate very much that you are taking the time to even be here, because I don't know what you're probably putting stuff into boxes or something at the moment, and hopefully you're doing well though. And once you're done with all that, once you're settled and everything, I'm gonna keep harassing you. I'll figure out something to harass you about, and that'll be fun. Well, probably the Janny Wurts, actually. That's what I can harass you about next. We got to read Traitor's Knot and get together with Joanna, the Elvish assassin, and talk about that. So, yeah, looking forward to that very much. So, where does One Piece land among the manga? Well, that's easy. I can answer that one. There's nothing comes close to One Piece. I mean, I loved Vagabond, and I love Vinland Saga. Those are top reads for me in when I read them. I love those. But One Piece is so special. It's just so special. But yeah, that's an easy one. Of course, keep in mind, I have only read, now One Piece is my 6th or 7th manga, I think. So pretty soon I'll be able to do a top 10. So yay, yes, AP is here. And it is, of course, lovely to see him. And yeah, hopefully he's still here. I don't know how far behind I am now. Uh-oh, is somebody telling on me here? Yes, I did actually mention that. Yep. This is true. I did give you some credit there. I don't know what I was thinking. But yes, I actually think AP is responsible for almost everybody on YouTube right now who is reading Wars of Light and Shadow. So take a bow, AP. We have awakened the dragon. Okay. All right. Yes. Thank you, Derry. I appreciate that way of framing it. I definitely do. A collection by R.K. Narayan. Okay. Malgudi Days. R.K. Narayan. Thank you for the recommendation. I love reading South Asian stuff. And what else have we got here? Oh yeah, I will tell you. I will tell you which moments in the post-war war arc totally broke me. I was bawling this morning. It was really something. Very cathartic, actually. Very cathartic. There you go. There's a good answer. Thank you. Children's fantasy novel. Thank you. I knew AP would come up with something. Yeah, totally fair. I mean, a lot of people enjoy reading the Percy Jackson books. Yay, I'm glad some people are coming up with some good ones. Cornelia Funk, yes, all right. Narnia, of course. Why wouldn't I say Narnia? Yeah, and Prydain, I read it when I was about 11. So if you think that's okay, I mean, it does have dark moments, but I never felt exceedingly disturbed as an 11-year-old, I will say. Of course, I was a weird 11-year-old, as you could probably imagine. So, Wizard of Earthsea, yes. I mean, I always think of Wizard of Earthsea as much more adult than YA or whatever. It was written before that term was around, but it was originally supposed to be marketed to kids, and I think it would be totally appropriate to read Earthsea. And it's such a beautiful. I mean, Le Guin is one of my favorites of all time. So, yeah, I don't think you could go wrong, at least with the The first three. The fourth Ursi book does have a couple a little bit disturbing stuff in there. There is some not exactly on the page, but there's some sexual assault mentioned and that kind of thing. So beware of the fourth book, Tehanu, in that regard. But certainly A Wizard of Ursi, the first book, would be great to read with the young one. And the whole series is just tremendous. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Brian, for putting that up there. Tenacious Tale 10 of the Tender Sword. And it's a lot of fun. It's one of those that you'll have fun reading, and so will your kid. So yeah, and you'd get to support an indie author that way. Oh yeah, here's some good ones. Yes, Howl's Moving Castle. Thank you, Capricious Fox. Yes, very good. And Nerdy Kathy is asking about favorite classics. Oh, well, you know me, Beowulf, of course. Yeah, if we were talking medieval, but you can't go wrong with Chaucer. Sir Gawain and the Green Knight is, to me, the most introspective and interesting of the Arthurian tales. So that's beautiful. You could go, let's go a little further along here. Elizabethan, of course, Shakespeare. I love the sonnets, actually. I think the sonnets should get more attention, but yeah, Hamlet, can't go wrong with any of the big tragedies, honestly. Midsummer Night's Dream, I've always enjoyed for its wistfulness. Even with his comedies, there's always something a little sad, especially in Midsummer Night's Dream, but it's beautiful. We talked about Paradise Lost earlier, of course. Yeah, in the 19th century stuff I mentioned a little bit earlier in the stream, but I'm a big fan of the Brontes, George Eliot. Yeah, so those are some that just leap to mind. Yeah, this is a shame, honestly. It seems bizarre to me that anyone would dismiss any other realm of knowledge. But yeah, it does happen. And I think it's silly. Like, I would never say, oh, the sciences are useless. They're wonderful. And so are the humanities, because the humanities are there to teach us how to think, which is actually kind of important, isn't it? So, yeah. Yes. Okay. My taste in music. So yes, you've heard my beautiful daughter, my older daughter, Rohana, playing the cello. My personal taste in music is very eclectic. I think my go-to is classical. The older, the better. So I love Renaissance music, but Baroque is probably the sweet spot for me. My favorite composer of all time being Bach. I also do love Vivaldi, and honestly, a lot of Baroque composers. But I still love classical. Mozart is always great if I'm in a particular mood as well. So yeah, a lot of classical, but I love folk music. I love rock. I love alternative. I'm down for whatever. If it sounds good to me, I'm there. So I'm not totally picky. Oh, Neil, I'm sorry. Did I skip your? Oh. I'm not going to show you what waist down. You're not going to get to see that. So sorry. What do you mean okay, Mr. Nemesis. My taste in music is not terrible. It's actually awesome. Of course, I'm a little biased in that. So yeah, Bulgarian. Yeah, I actually have not read the Bulgarian myself. But I probably should someday. I feel like it's a staple for sure. Will Gorsarhad ever reappear in your future writings? For sure. Yes. I'm having a little talk with Gorsarhad actually right now. So that's a definite yes, T. Baggins. Oh yeah, well, we'll miss you if you do, but totally get it. Let's see. Thank you, Derry. I appreciate that. And of course, I myself am the best villain in fantasy, the most nefarious anyway. I don't know about the best, but perhaps the most nefarious. Hey, Derry, come on. I thought you were on my side here. Oh, man. Oh, everybody's backing up the nemesis here. Look at this. It's true, DK. I'm sure that if Jormungand had Tweed, Yoruman would be wearing tweed jackets. Undoubtedly. Thank you so much. I love Cambridge. Okay, there, T. Baggins. Fair enough. Reaper's Gale is your least favorite. I couldn't say that about Reaper's Gale. There's a moment in Reaper's Gale, I don't want to give spoilers here, but where I feel like, whoa, okay. Oh, here's a good answer to that. Yes, Jennifer, you're right. Kenneth. Okay, that's actually an answer I could get behind. Favorite villain. Is favorite even the right word here? But yeah, most compelling, most fascinating villain. Villain that we, I guess, love to read, but also love to hate. Yeah, Kenneth is definitely there. I could get behind that vote. So can Heidi, for sure. Thank you so much, Chris. Yeah, I totally get you, Chris. I mean, I don't understand when somebody says this book wasn't what I wanted. Really? Okay. Why didn't the author call you on your cell phone and ask you what you wanted before writing that book? I don't get that one either, Chris. I really don't. Yeah, I feel like the author is trying to take me somewhere, and sometimes I'm comfortable with that, and sometimes I'm not comfortable with that. And that can be a good thing. If authors only gave me what I wanted, boy, would that be boring, right? So yeah, I try my best to put aside what I want and what I like when I'm doing reviews. I can't do that 100%, but I definitely try my best to do that. And I appreciate that you like that. Thank you, Chris. Not everybody likes that, but I'm glad that there's somebody who's with me on that one for sure. So I haven't read the second Mistborn series, so I can't weigh in on that. I did read the first, and I can say that I enjoyed it for sure. And I also, by the way, will say I'm grateful to Brandon Sanderson, particularly with Mistborn, because that dude has brought a lot of people into fantasy. Let's give him that. You know, I don't care if you're a fan or not, but you have to at least acknowledge Brandon Sanderson is one of the authors who's brought more people into fantasy. I think you'd have to put him up there with Tolkien and J.K. Rowling, probably, in terms of the number of people who've gotten into fantasy because of a particular author. So thank you, Brandon Sanderson. Yeah, I agree, T. Baggins. I agree. I wouldn't do it. Yes, I did, Neil. I did cry during Marineford, but I will say that I cried more during post-war, and I'll tell you why when I release the video in a week or so. And where do you begin when it comes to writing a fantasy book? I started with a map. That's what I did. I drew a map, and that was the first thing I ever did. And then I wrote now this part you don't have to follow my crazy method, but I made a map. I made up a history and mythology, religions. I basically tried to create a world and made up fake languages based on real languages that I'm familiar with. And then I thought about a story, which came out of me, and I made notes and I made an outline. And I'm a planner, as you can hear. So that's what worked for me. But there are so many different approaches that work. The main thing is to just keep doing, go at it, do it, don't give up, try your best to write. And honestly, I am so glad nobody sees what I first started writing when I started writing, because it was terrible. You just got to keep going at it. That's my best advice. It's this wonderful Welsh proverb. It's steady tapping that breaks the stone. And that's what you got to do. You got to keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. What else have we got here? Oh, look at this. Okay. There's the denial. Everyone sees it. Everyone sees it. Where do I get my oh gosh, Andrew, there's so many answers to that wonderful question. A lot of them are from my reading over the years, just stuff that has been swashing around in this brain of mine after reading. Some of it is traveling. Honestly, a lot of the Adan trilogy is based on my experience of living in South Asia, and not just the magic system being based on Buddhist philosophy or Hindu philosophy. It's really a matter of the very important experiences, very formative experiences I had there. So So reading, traveling, and then just letting it all come out and engage in the creative process. So yeah. Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, snobbery is never a good thing when it comes to storytelling, I think. So you got to be open to great storytelling wherever it is. And there is no doubt that manga is a medium that is conducive to great storytelling. Yay, Joanna. We are going to have so much fun reading Trader's Knot. We absolutely are. Yay. That's true, Derry. One of us has to be, right? That's how it is. Thanks, DK. I feel like more people are taking AP side. That's not fair. Yes, I'm going to try Berserk. I am. After One Piece, it's under consideration. Thank you, Patrick. I agree. I don't know if any manga is ever going to touch One Piece, but let's see. I'm going to keep reading them. Let us see. And so, yeah, absolutely, Marco. Definitely deserve it. Okay, so we do have a Dust of Dreams lowest in the series. Okay. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Dust of Dreams is really the first half of The Crippled God. That's kind of how that is. So thank you, Alex. For Beowulf, I'm happy to recommend either the Tom Shippey translation, which is fantastic because it's not only a translation, but it's a facing page one, which I love. So it has the Old English on the opposite side. So if you want to try to take a stab at the Old English, it's there. So the Tom Shippey translation, which is edited by Leonard Nydorf. That is I had the opportunity actually to talk to Tom Shippey, the translator, and a scholar that I admire tremendously. He's done so much for medieval studies and for Tolkien studies as well. And I got to talk to him about his translation on my channel last year. It was just so wonderful. And yeah, I recommend his translation, actually. The other one that I think is also very good is the Seamus Heaney translation. Seamus Heaney being a really great Irish poet who gave it a really nice aesthetic feel. So if you want to go for the more aesthetic, then Heaney's translation. But the overall is definitely the Tom Shippey translation. So yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Patrick. I listened to Patrick. It does pay to listen to Patrick. Oh, we're all having fun here, AP, now that you're here. And visual novels. Okay, yeah. I mean, you never know. I'm trying to keep life interesting. So, oh yeah, my goodness, it's so late in Indonesia. Yes, thank you even for being here, Patrick. Oh, okay. So the Nemesis is not here anymore. Okay. Good, good, good. I am so looking forward to hearing from you, my friend, even if you're not here. Hello, Gregory. I do not. That is one thing I just don't have time for. I wish I did, but I couldn't. I really could not possibly do all my reading and have my job and make videos and write and all that. If I played video games, I think I probably wouldn't do anything else. So I am trying to keep myself clear of that. Look at this guy. Look at a parting shot. Okay. Please make sure to make fun of Philip in my absence. Okay. Thank you, AP. Somebody's got to do it, right? Oh, more children's series. Very good. Donuts. I don't eat donuts really at all anymore. So yeah, that's. Thank you. Okay, everybody's listening to you, AP. Nice. Very nice. He's very persuasive, I must say. Mega Project asks me, at which point did you decide that you wanted to pursue a PhD? Did you regret that decision at any point during the journey? Yeah. I can't say I regretted it. I loved doing my PhD, which probably sounds weird, but I had a blast. I at a certain point in high school, junior year of high school, I just had this something woke up in me, and I began to love learning. It's not that I did badly in school before that, but it was probably my AP U.S. history teacher my junior year who just was infectious in his enthusiasm for the subject matter. And I realized that I loved it. And somehow that went from AP U.S. history to every subject. And I just wanted to learn. And that carried me through, my bachelor's degree and my PhD was just I had a blast. I loved learning. I loved the deep dive that I did while writing my dissertation. It was like a daily mystery to me to get up and chisel away at this massive project that became this book that I have behind me here, this big old book. So yeah, I mean, it was, I thought the whole thing was just fun. I had a blast with it. And when did I decide to do it? I kind of fell into it. I finished my bachelor's degree and realized I had no clue what I was going to do with myself because I majored in liberal arts, which I loved. I just loved learning. All I knew was that I loved learning. So the logical thing was to go on to do graduate school. That's kind of how that went, really. And so, yeah, eventually I realized at a certain point during the PhD that I got to teach. And I thought, yeah, I like this. So, yeah, I just stuck with it and no regrets whatsoever. Okay, I can actually answer this one, June. Who's my favorite One Piece character? That's easy. That's Robin. Definitely Robin. I identify so much with Robin and her love for the past, her passion for understanding life, the world through investigating the past is something that I identify with so strongly. So thank you so much, Frosty. I so appreciate you giving it a shot, giving the trilogy a shot. And I wish you the best for your Malazan journey, of course. Yes, I don't know, Master Sal, but it is true. And it just makes me so sad. But AP is always right. Sometimes I think he's wrong. And then it turns out like a year later, I realize he was right. So I don't know. How would you like to be stuck with a nemesis who's always right? I mean, that's heroism right there, because I have this nemesis who's always right. That's the ultimate villain right there. How can you defeat someone who's always right? I think that I'm an example of the greatest courage one can have, because it is courage in the face of certain doom. I'm just doomed because AP is always right. It's true. And it could make me sad, but it doesn't, because I'm a hero and I can't give up. So there it is. So Patrick is telling Brian to read both Berserk and One Piece. That's very helpful, Patrick. Okay. Okay, we're together on that, June, on Robin. I love Bonchan as well. Bon stole my heart, absolutely, during Impel Down. I loved him the first time as well, but Impel Down, yeah, Bon completely stole my heart. Just beautiful character. So there's Brian's response. Okay, hopefully you answered this in the comments, because I don't know. Most underrated fantasy book that everyone should read. Gosh, I don't know. Janny Wurts, Wars of Light and Shadow. There you go. I gave you an answer. Janny Wurts, Wars of Light and Shadow. It is not being read enough yet. So that is my answer for that. Thank you so much, Big Nick. I appreciate you. Did it really take me an hour and a half to get to Beowulf? Man, I'm off my game here. Holy cow. That's incredible. So I was asked about video games earlier, and I'm sorry to be such a wimp. But yeah. Yes, aren't they? They're so wistful, Kathy. Shakespeare's comedies, they are so wistful and so beautiful. And what are my favorite standalones? Okay, this I can answer. You can't go wrong with, let's see if I have this here. Yeah, I don't have one of them because I read it, the library's version of it, but Susanna Clark. You can't go wrong with Susanna Clark. So her Piranesi, I think, has attracted some attention here on BookTube, and justly so. It is one of the weirdest, most dreamlike experiences you could have. But also a much bigger book, the Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. which is basically Jane Austen meets fantasy. It's a very Napoleonic era kind of fantasy, very dark and twisty magic. Susanna Clark, fantastic, wonderful standalones. Guy Gavriel Kay's Tigana is one that I read and loved, and I intend to reread in the near future and read more GGK. And I understand he has some great standalones as well. What other standalones? I'm sure people in the comments could help me here, but those are some that leap to mind for sure. I don't want to get too far behind here, so I'll move on. You can have both, Marco. That is absolutely true. And okay, yeah, you could go in that direction for sure. I have not read Journey to the West yet, but after reading One Piece, it's on my sort of must-read list. So yeah, I want to read Journey to the West for sure. And I understand there's some good translations into English, so I will be checking that out for sure. Yes, Derry, how did you know? How did you know that I have SpongeBob PJs? A Swiftie. I mean, I'm open-minded. I could be a Swiftie. Who knows? So why not? Biggest hole in my fantasy reading. Oh, Samwise, there are so many that I want to read. I mentioned earlier already Gormenghast, more GGK. I need to read more GGK. Gosh, I mean, yeah, so many. I didn't want to even start talking about it because there are so many, but I intend to fill as many as I can before I die. That's the goal. I will fill as many of those holes as I can. Human Sadness by the Voids. Okay, I don't know what that is, but now I've heard of it. Oh yes, I've heard of this band. Obviously Malazan-inspired band. Kaladin Brood. Book of the Fallen. Yeah. Yes. Okay. You too. All right. Good. Gormenghast. All right. Yes. Okay. Tchaikovsky. I love Tchaikovsky. For sure. Thank you, Mirko. I think I have good taste in music as well. So yeah, I mean, romantic. You can't look Beethoven. I'm there. I love everything. The Ninth Symphony has me in tears every single time. Beethoven's Ninth. I cannot listen to that without the tears flowing. It's just so I'm getting teary just thinking about it right now. I have to move on. Yeah, I love the Three Musketeers too. Heidi, Kathy, and Heidi. And what else have we got here? I could any moment now become a Swiftie. You never know. Okay, yes. Okay, I do. I've gotten that advice. Will do. Joanna's being asked if she's around still. Yes, Joanna is a musician. Actually, a goal in my life is to hear Joanna sing. I would love to hear Joanna sing. I have not heard her sing before. I think she might be a little shy about it, but she is a professionally trained singer. So yeah, I think we deserve a Joanna concert. Or maybe a song. Maybe Joanna, please. Pretty please. What do we have to do, Joanna, to get to hear you sing? I want to hear it anyway. We got to see Jimmy wrestling. Okay. So I think it's only fair if we see Joanna singing. Right, everybody? I think everyone agrees with me. Write in the comments if you agree with me. And as a writer, has it given you a deeper appreciation? Oh my goodness, Kathy. Yes. So definitely writing has given me tremendous appreciation and respect. Now, I've always tried to be respectful when I review a book. I've always tried and everyone can do it their own way, but I always try to imagine the author in the room with me, being there, in front of me. And what would I say to this person? And I would obviously want to keep that respectful. So when I review a book, I do the same. I try to keep my comments constructive and respectful, to acknowledge what I think is good about a read, So yeah, that is a side of reviewing that is probably affected by me, writing and engaging in writing. And it is, terrifying in a way to put your stuff out there, because some people are going to like it and some people are not. And you're just going to have to learn how to live with it. But hopefully you run into people who will give you constructive criticism as well. So thank you. Yeah, post-war is just, whoa, just gutted me. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, the map comes first. And I hope that Nami would be proud of me. I hope she would approve of my map as well. So thank you, the Tilter. Much appreciated. And more love for, I don't know how to say that. I wish I knew how to say that. Freerin? Attack on Titan. I've had a lot of recommendations on that for sure. And emphasis on character. Character's great. Yep, you got to have good characters. Yeah, we sort of talked about this, Seth, a little earlier. I just don't feel it doesn't work. It's like apples and oranges in a way. So yeah, I will say though that One Piece is one of the greatest stories ever told. That's how I feel at the moment. But yeah, that would be tough. Oh, I like this. Hood's Breath. Yeah. I need to hear that swear in a book again. I need to read that swear in a book again. So hopefully Steven Erickson will be blessing us with a book soon. Favorite second Apocalypse character? Oh, man. Phew. Okay. Probably my favorite one to follow along with, though I get frustrated as heck with him, is Akamian. Sad Gandalf. Akamian is he's a compelling character. I like what R. Scott Baker is exploring through Akamian in many ways. I get very frustrated with Akamian, and sometimes I think he's the biggest idiot in the world. But at the same time, the poor guy, I mean, he just can't catch a break, and he's always trying. And yeah, there's something about him just picking himself up and dusting himself off and trying to do the right thing in spite of miserably failing in some important moments. That's something I guess I can identify with. Yeah. So it's going to be Akamian for me. Okay. And Jennifer says a recommendation. L.E. I'm not sure how to say that. Modesits. But yes, of course, I'm familiar with the name as a fantasy. And this is for the Recluse series. Okay. Thank you so much, Aslan. I deeply appreciate you. Okay, yeah, if you want the audiobook. Yeah, that's great. Seamus Heaney's translation of Beowulf. Awesome. I love 1984. I think it's a very important book. In the past, I've said that if I could make every high school kid read one book, it would be 1984. Probably senior year, though. So, yeah. Yeah, Aslan, probably no one has been written about more than Tolkien, I would guess. I would love to see dissertations on the Malazan myself. I think they support it. One Piece too, for that matter. You could write. I firmly believe there will be, if there aren't already, dissertations about One Piece. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I mean, that's a name I probably should look into myself, for sure. Yeah, so I lived in South Asia. The first time was about a year, and it was mainly Nepal, although I traveled all over India as well, all the way to the south. I loved Kerala. It was probably my favorite place in India. It was in Kochi in Kerala. But yeah, it's I go back all the time. I go back every few years at least, because I'm fortunate enough to have married into a Nepali family. So we go back all the time. And so I don't know if you add it all up how long I've lived there, but it's I love it every time I'm back. There's nothing better than being a South Asian son-in-law. Oh, the Lord of the Rings. Yes. Okay. So I have this one is probably more familiar to people. I think a lot of people have this one on BookTube. And this is, yeah. But this one is an illustrated edition with Alan Lee's art in it. And I love it. This one I've had for a long time. Actually, it's very special for me. My father bought this one for me for my birthday one year. And so actually, nope, scratch that, Christmas. But it was back in 2001. But it's got a lot of the famous Alan Lee illustrations. Whoops, there we go, are in here. See if we're going to get that focused right. So yeah, I mean, Alan Lee is one of my favorite Tolkien artists, and obviously very important one because they consulted Alan Lee while they were making, Peter Jackson consulted Alan Lee. It was a very important consultant for the Lord of the Rings films. So a lot of his illustrations will look very familiar to you, even if you've only watched the Peter Jackson films. So yeah, highly recommend that edition. And it's printed by Houghton Mifflin. If you want to track it down, it's a Houghton Mifflin edition with the Alan Lee illustrations, and I absolutely love it. So here we go. Philip, thank you so much, and you have a great name there, Philip. So absolutely. Oh, sorry, I missed that. Yeah, I missed that. Okay. Yes, that's true. I think, Aslan, if you're going to get a PhD, you kind of better love the subject. You really should. If you don't love it, you're probably not going to make it. And another Robin fan out there. So true, Andrew. I really feel that way. I am so grateful to my great mentors. That history teacher in high school, my mentor when I was in college, that I started to learn Old English and Old Norse with, my senior year of college. Charlie Tesk. His name is Charlie Tesk. He passed away a few years ago, but yeah, he was a great man. Someone that I learned a lot from. Learned a lot in terms of how I teach and how I interact with students. Probably a lot of what I do here on YouTube is because of Charlie Tesk, who is one of the founding members of the Evergreen State College. A really great person. No. So if AP is always right, does that make you the villain? No, of course not, because the villain is the one who's always right. Isn't that how that works? I think so. Heroes have to have some kind of like weakness that they overcome in order to deal with the villain, right? I think that's how that works. Yes, more love for Bon Clay. I'm here for it. Yes, absolutely, Aslan. There we go. Oh, thank you, Tom. Yeah, that's a good answer to that question. The Adan trilogy. Go read it, everybody. No bias whatsoever in that one, but I appreciate you, Tom. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. I'm getting some backing up on this one. There we go. Every video, I should just say Beowulf at the beginning. Thank you, DK. You're always giving me this excellent advice. Oh, thank you, Ravi. Thank you so much. Yeah. Honestly, I just appreciate every single reader. The idea that my books are out there in the world and that people are reading them and that some are enjoying them even, it blows me away every time I think about it. And I'm just so grateful for you guys. So grateful. It's very fulfilling. I feel fulfilled. That is the best way to put it. So much appreciated. If someone's buying my books, again, I'm just grateful for any support at all, Dan. Thank you for the question, by the way. I think that I actually don't know how much I make yet from the audiobooks, but I think in the end, I probably get the most support from the paperback. Although the Broken Binding Special Edition, probably that's the answer, but there's only going to be, I think, 1,000 of them. So I don't expect everybody to open their wallets necessarily to buy a 55-pound book. Although it's going to be beautiful, it's going to be gorgeous. I'm so excited about that Broken Binding edition. But yeah, so I would say the paperbacks, but really, if you buy the ebook or the audiobook or anything, thank you so much. I mean, that's just, that's support of any kind. And I'm just grateful. I really appreciate it. No, not at all. I actually don't regret One Piece covering it in any way whatsoever. Nope. I actually have met a lot of cool people who are One Piece fans who are also fantasy fans. And so a lot of the people who are initially came to me through One Piece are watching my other videos. And I feel like they're friends, so this is great. Every story is like that, really. When I did Malazan, I made a bunch of new friends, people who came to the channel, and some of them stuck around and some of them watched other videos. So that's how that goes. And I think One Piece is no different. It's just One Piece is big, that's for sure. But I see no difference whatsoever in what I do with One Piece versus any other series or book that I cover. So absolutely, yes, Samwise. I will start my reread next year of Book of the New Sun, and then I will read Earth of the New Sun, and then we'll see. I will read more Gene Wolfe for sure, though. He's just too good not to. Oh, yeah, Sword of Kaigen. I haven't read that yet, but I will read that. I have a copy. And definitely To Ride Hell's Chasm. Good call, Jennifer. Thank you. So, yes, okay. Another fan of Dr. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. Thank you. Almost said Doctor Strange. That's from my Marvel comic book days. Yes, definitely. Yeah, Journey to the West. Gotta read that. There's Sam. Thank you so much, Sam. Yep, I gotta save my voice a little bit for our discussion later. I will be seeing you in a couple hours to talk about those SPFBO reads. Very excited for that. Oh, cool. Okay, awesome. Favorite animal? Oh gosh. Night Eyes from Realm of the Elderlings probably is the one that leaps in mind. A lot of John Gwynn's animal companions are just so wonderful. I like Kraft, the crow. Yeah. Yay, somebody's with me on hearing Joanna singing. I want to hear that so much. Oh, I gave the right answer, Derry. Yes. Yes, Joanna should sing Binks's Brew. I mean, you had to put up with me singing it, so her singing it would be a treat. Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to skip ahead even more because I am going to probably start thinking about wrapping this up, but I want to get to a few more. Seth, prefer Jimmy singing and Joanna wrestling. I don't know if you really would do that, but that does give me a smile at least. Theories of what's to come in One Piece. That's a great idea. I'll probably be dead wrong on everything, but I could try that. And okay, more for this. I can't say it, but thank you. Thank you so much. Love for Freerin. Okay, and Chris as well. So Julian and Chris here as well. Oh, the anime is better, he's saying. Okay. All right. Okay, here we go, Mirko. Right. AP and John is singing. Or me and Jimmy. I mean, me and Jimmy wrestling, it would be short, but it would be epic, I'm sure. The probably anticipation would be greater than the actual event, I suspect. And a drunken live stream. Okay, there we go. That's the ticket. Yep, I'm definitely reading Dandelion Dynasty. I suspect that it'll be January when I start at this point. Okay, I'm getting more wonderful recommendations here, but I'm going to skip here. Oh, I have a wonderful... Okay, another generous person here. I need to get to this. Thank you so much. Oh, I love your icon there. And then the first time I'm being able to see it closely like that. That's beautiful. Okay. And that's a Going Merry. Aw. Okay. So you have officially unlocked the meaning of subscriptions, life, the universe, and everything. Oh, thank you so much. You're so kind. Aw. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. You guys are the best. What can I say? You guys are the best. I am so privileged to be here, to be part of this community. I'm so sorry I'm not getting to everybody's comments. Oh, good for you. My best wishes to you for your writing, Lucas. My very best wishes to you. All right, Sam, I will tell them that. Oh, for the Way of a Dan. Okay, I just feel bad that I'm not going to get to everybody's comment here. I'm so sorry, you guys, but I love you all. Thank you so much, Nerdwriter1. Oh, so cool. I'm so glad to hear that about Book of the New Sun. Right on. All right. Yes, it is all about the friendship, Neil. You are so right. Hello, Daniel. Good to see you. Exactly, Alex. This is it. This here, for me at least, is the meaning of life. Being with you guys, spending this time together, having this way of interacting with people who love stories, who are crazy like me about stories, doesn't get any better, my people. Oh boy. Okay. All right. That's a promise. I'm reading that as a promise, Joanna. I'm interpreting that as a promise. At least. I think I'm almost there. I'm skipped over a bunch, so I'm so sorry. Okay. We're getting a duet. I'm so excited. I have A Stranger in Alondria. I have it, and I'm going to read it. You heard it here. Definitely. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to wind this down here. Oh, thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Oh, and we have John is going to sing with you as well, Joanna. This is going to be, I think we have to do a whole like BookTube album. That's what this is going to be, a BookTube album for everybody. So thank you guys so much. I am so grateful to all of you. I can't express my appreciation enough. Thank you to everybody who subscribed, everybody who supported me in any way whatsoever, whether that be a comment or buying The Way of a Dan or just listening to my nonsense. You guys are just so beautiful. I feel loved and appreciated, and there's just nothing better really in the whole world. So thank you all so much. And that's it for me for now. Until next time.